Hello there, it's Sean. Today I want to talk about the truth of remote high-ticket sales, as well as what it means to be what I call a one-dimensional closer, and the difference between that versus being a complete closer. If you have been researching this space and you have been doing your homework, you've been looking at stuff here and there, and you're thinking to yourself like, hey, I thought remote sales should be a pretty straightforward game. I find a good company with a qualified, good, high-ticket offer. I book calls for them. I close sales for them. I get paid. It should be a pretty straightforward game, right? But why is it that I have to invest in closer programs after closer programs after closer programs? And it has been what, like multiple 4-5 figures? And then when I need help, the support is either non-existent or the advice is impractical, incongruent, unactionable, or they don't even reply. And then what's going to happen now? So if it happens once, fine, okay, that is okay. Don't let it happen again. Why it happens? A lot of times it's because we have this idea that coming into this space, we're going to see results very fast. We're going to make money next week. We're going to get fast internet money. And I really want to emphasize that this kind of mentality is what gets us into trouble, especially when there's no foundation, you haven't really overcome the learning curve, you haven't really dialed your closing chops. This kind of mentality, the shortcut mentality, is what gets us into trouble. It's how these companies the copy and paste closer programs, the copycat coaches, it's how they are able to take advantage of this kind of mentality. So if you want to become a complete closer, if you want to protect yourself, okay, the first thing you need to do is to learn how to discern, is to learn how to think for yourself and do your homework, do your due diligence, and understand that a lot of these realities of remote closing is very unsexy to market. Companies want sales. I have a business, I understand. And when companies want sales, it doesn't make sense for them to market the unsexy side of things. You think about it, if it were that easy, if anyone can come in and make good money next week, okay, I don't know, maybe it happens, maybe you're really smart, maybe you're really gifted, okay, but that wasn't me and that's not what I see, okay. If it were that easy, then your family, your friends, your relatives, okay, everyone at work, everyone at school, they would all be closing high-ticket sales remotely online. But are they? Why not? Because there is a learning curve. There is a learning curve that is very unsexy to market. So if you get involved in diluted guru programs, copy-paste coaches, then you want help. How are they going to demonstrate? You want to shadow after a seasoned closer, just like how a apprentice needs to shadow a master, so that you can learn on the job, right? You have a question, they can answer you. You need a demonstration, they can show you. You need support, they can give you. If they haven't actually lived what you're trying to do, how are you ever going to get the support and guidance and demonstration? You know, a lot of these things like building your own unique closer brand, right? Selling your unique value to companies, standing out, beating the competition, becoming full stack, completing your skills as a closer. You know, all these things I didn't teach. I didn't teach until I started my own coaching business. If you scroll on my social media, Instagram, okay, YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, and you scroll all the way back, all the way back to 2018. That's 4 plus 5 years ago. That's when I started. I didn't teach these things because I was doing these things. Okay, it's one thing to have a copy-paste program and you teach what everyone is teaching. It's another thing, okay, to be down to your final $2, surviving on 1 meal a day, and then figuring out how to beat this learning curve, and then completing yourself as a closer so that you can actually live these things. You know, I never had a job other than working as an English substitute teacher for 8 months. I never had a job. And during my time, the last 5 years as a closer, I never had a job as well. I never had a part-time job. I never had a side hustle. No backup plan. No plan B. No drop shipping, no copywriting, no part-time thing, nothing. All I did every single day: book calls, close sales, build teams, train closers. That's it. And of course, pros and cons, right? Because I don't have to travel to work. I don't have to get stuck in traffic. I don't have to deal with difficult bosses, difficult colleagues. I can take my skills and then I can go to any company and do my thing. And once I book my calls, once I close my sales, once I hit my KPIs, the rest of the day is on mine. Whatever I want to do with my time, you know, no one can say anything because I've already achieved what I want to do, right? So I want to highlight the main problem I want to highlight today is this thing, okay, what I call a one-dimensional closer. One-dimensional closer. Like what I was saying earlier. Let's say you watch this training today and then you have a question for me. You're like, Sean, what do you mean by this? Or can you demonstrate that? And imagine if I even reply you, okay, and then I say things like, sales is a simple game, you know. Don't overcomplicate. What the hell are you supposed to do with the advice? If you ask me a question like, hey, this part of a sales call, what should I do? And as your coach, as your trainer, I say, be creative. Think out of the box. Hey, any monkey can do that, right? So if you don't have someone you can model after, someone that can demonstrate, someone that can break the steps down and personalize that support to you because you invested in their training, then how are you going to have the confidence to break through in this space, especially when you have one big fat learning curve in front of you? You know, when you do remote sales, you are all on your own. You know, this is as close to entrepreneurship as you will ever get. This is as close to you starting your own business as you will ever get. You know, this is a business for you. Do you know that? What are you selling? You're selling your closing services. Who are your customers? The business owners, right? They are your leads, and you deliver your closing services. It's your remote online business. And to navigate in this space, there's a lot of pressure, there's a lot of fear, there's a lot of uncertainty. And worst case, if they don't even reply you or they hire someone else, you know, to go patronize you, then how can we protect ourselves, right? So the best thing we can do, okay, we go join companies and start as a setter. Then we should have just bought a setter program, right? But okay, never mind. We go start as a setter. You know, a lot of these companies, they know. What do they know? They know that all you need is an opportunity. And so they use that to get you in their team, a team that is not ready. I repeat, a team that is not ready to hire a closer. What do I mean by not ready? How do you know if a company is ready? A company is ready to hire a closer when they have done it themselves, as in the business owner, he or she has already consistently closed, or at least someone in the company has already consistently closed 10 to 30K revenue in months. Why? Because what does that tell us? What does that tell us? That tells us that their fundamentals are dialed. People want their offer. Everything already works. And then the business owner want to replace themselves. Then they hire you to take the calls to close the high ticket sales. And that's where you earn. But no, a lot of them don't know sales. A lot of them, their foundations are not dialed. So they hire you and they say, we are working on it, we are building our funnels, and in the meantime, you know what you do? You go do cold calling, you go do VA work, you go clear their inbox, and they don't pay you anything, or they pay you very little. And you might as well go back to your 9 to 5, right? Because why? They know that is what you need. So, but then what else can we do? Because we already don't know how to navigate. So never mind, we just join a team, and then, you know, we burn out doing all this labor in the team, right? We clear their inbox, we cold call their leads, we clear their messages, we wash their clothes, we do everything. And then for those that are still stuck in the 9 to 5, or they are in this space and we are all under an income ceiling because we can't set, we can't close, then what's the next best thing we can do? A new copy paste program comes out, and we just invest. We buy another 3-day workshop, we buy another 5-day challenge, we buy another 7-week coaching, and then what? It's the same thing. And then when I need help, and the loop repeats and repeats and repeats, and we never step into the identity of a closer. This is the penalty of being one-dimensional. And just to break this whole thing down, okay, into sort of like a matrix, so you can see a top-down view, okay, we want to look at, like, if we want to look at a closer, and we can want to think like, hey, can this closer make it? How far can this closer go? Okay, you want to break down this closer, okay, into the big 3: identity, brand, and skills. Identity, brand, and skills. Identity is your paradigm, it's your mentality, it's your self-image, it's everything. If this thing shuts down, that's it. Okay, your brand is how people perceive you, what kind of substance you're putting out there. It's not about your suit, it's not about your cover photo, it's not about your logo, it's not about your website, it's not about all those things. It's about your substance. Your substance is your clarity and your understanding of this skill. If you have no substance, whatever you put out, no use. Okay, that's pretty much it. And then your skills, obviously, is your bread and butter, is what you use to book calls and close deals. And you can see at the one-dimensional level, we have a very reactive paradigm. We feel pressurized. We are reacting to problems. We might not even have a space or the time to close. We're stuck. So our brand, either non-existent or generic, irrelevant. And we have no skills because all we have is a course. At this stage, what we need is experience points. So at 2 dimensions, you'll notice that these closers have maybe been through 1 or 2 teams as a setter. They've done some kind of calls, cold call, triage call. They have engaged the prospect in some way, shape, or form on a phone. There's something to their brand now, and they have been part of teams. They have earned some money here and there, so they know that, okay, I can start to do this. And the next level for them is to up their substance, is to up their brand assets. Then at 3D, you'll start to see the closers that they have this independent aura with them, right? They have quite a pretty decent portfolio. They've been through a few companies. They've probably been closing for 6 to 12 months, and then they can book some calls, they can close some deals. Okay, these kind of closers, the next level they're trying to get is to step into the identity of a sales leader. Because a lot of times when you want to scale, okay, you want to build a team and earn from the override. And you want to work with the A companies. Okay, so you want to up yourself to 4-dimensional. At 4-dimension, okay, now your identity is I lead people, I train people. Okay, I'm the number 2 or I'm the number 3 in a company. Okay, so for me to join teams, okay, as a 4D closer, no problem. I can eliminate the competition. Okay, your name, okay, whenever your name is in the competition, okay, in the conversation, you're always top 3, top 5, top 10. Okay, because your brand is up there, your name is remembered. Okay, your skills, needless to say, dialed. Okay, you can set, you can book, you can lead, you can coach, you can train. Okay, at this stage, the next level for you is, most of the time you probably have start your own business already. You launch your own thing, or you have a or you will at least be like a partner or number two in a company. Okay, so this is a top-down view of the complete closer matrix. So that at any point in time, at least you have a clear idea of, okay, where am I at now? What needs to be dialed? What is the next level for me? You know what I'm saying? This is a different perspective of the same thing. And the reason I created this is because I want you to see, if you just miss one of the big three, it's very difficult to succeed in this space. Let's think about your identity. If you have the skills and the brand, but you don't have the identity, what happens? You self-sabotage. Right? How many of you experience that? You can talk, you can brand, but then you always sabo yourself. If you have the identity, you have the skills, and then no one knows you, okay, then you're unknown. Okay, you're not putting yourself out there, and why? If you have the identity, okay, you have the brand, but then when you're tested, you cannot do one proper sales call, and I know a lot of closers who are like that, then you know what you are? You are hot air closer. So it's very important when you complete yourself to have a strong balance of your identity. Okay, what drives you to want to succeed as a closer? What does closing mean to you? Are you proud of yourself as a closer? Okay, your brand, how you sell yourself, and your complete skill set. Okay, the big three. So here's a typical journey of the one-dimensional closer, and here I just put 4 months for illustration purposes. The reality is, if you are not careful, if we are not careful, this thing can go on and on and on. When now we have an income problem, or maybe we don't have an income problem, but then when we try to get into good teams, the companies don't reply, we lose to the competition, we fail the interviews, okay, we lack the experience, or we join a team and then we're not enough calls, not enough sales calls, okay, or we have enough bookings but we can't close, okay, or you're stuck underneath 3K a month, or you're stuck underneath 10K months. Okay, so the solution is not to get diluted advice. The solution is to not get things that you cannot implement. Okay, for each individual problem, there is a root cause, and for each root cause, there is a solution. And before I show you the solution, I want you to understand that in this space, okay, there is a journey. Like every buyer in sales goes through a journey, and you can see that I have broken it down into 5 big stages. Yes, all the way from the beginning of the marketing, like I'm a prospect, what do I see? Right, all the way to is there anyone supporting me on this journey? All the way to before this sales call, what is my experience? All the way to on the actual sales call itself, is it 2 calls? Is it 1 call? Okay, so what most copy-paste closer programs will market is this end part, okay, in the red circle, where they just tell you, hey, you just need to get on the call and then you just close them. Now, is that true? Is that true? You know the companies that are super dialed when they can just give you a lead and then you close? You know these high-level companies, okay, that do like this, right? They say that, oh, we just run the ads and then you just do a call. Only 2 kind of companies will do this. You know what are the 2 kinds? The first kind is the one that is super established. That's why they just run an ad, they get calls, right? Because they're very high level. They're very established. So no problem, right? These are of course very good companies to close for, but are you at that level? Are you at the level where they will recruit you and they give you their leads that cost hundreds and thousands of their marketing budget? Are you that person currently? Because the second type of company that does that is the company that have no clue what they're doing. So they keep trying to fix this, but they can't get their thing right. So they tell you, wait, be patient. we are fixing our funnel. Next week, we are going to launch our ads. Next week, and then next week, next year, next decade, next millennium, next light year. Okay, and then I have to start as a seller because there's nothing to do. Okay, and then this company, they turn around and then they say, why is the sales team not performing when they are not properly, okay, protecting their closers as well as their prospects with a proper nurturing and education system, so that the whole marketing and sales departments, the whole function, both of them make sense. You know what I'm saying? So when they sell you to just say, just do the one in red, just get people on a call and close that, is that true? Is that true? So you have all these calls coming in. Are the leads ideal? Are the calls actually consistently coming in day after day? Because don't forget, I'm doing this full time. I have been doing this full time the last 5 years. If I only depend on the red circle, do you think I can do this as a stable career? Why or why not? You think about it. Because any moment, if they say we need to pause our funnel, any moment if they say we are going on vacation, any moment if they say, oh, you are not meeting our KPIs, we have to let you go, we've decided to hire someone new, like, hey, this is the internet. Anything can happen tomorrow. Doesn't matter what contract you sign, doesn't matter what agreement you sign, doesn't matter who certify you. This is the internet. Tomorrow you could be gone, they could be gone, and there's nothing. What are you going to do? You're going to call the police? Right? So my best bet is to protect myself. That I want to know the whole journey. I'm not saying, hey, you got to become a marketer, you got to become a copywriter, you got to become a Facebook ad specialist. That's not what I'm saying. But I want you to understand the complete buyer's journey of a prospect, so that at any stage, if there is a gap, you are not just a cost taker. You can go to that gap and you know how to solve that problem because you understand the psychology of each stage. And this not only separates you from all the one-dimensional cost takers, it allows you to bring so much value. All your numbers go up, all your KPIs go up, your performance go up because you can do so much more for companies. And my question to you is, if you can do all these things for companies, who do you think has the better income, reputation, and lifestyle? Who do you think is more at risk? Who do you think is more dependent on gurus and copycat coaches? Who do you think is the independent one that knows how to take care of himself, that knows how to book calls, that knows how to engage prospects, and knows how to bring sales? The one-dimensional closer or the complete closer? You know what I'm saying? As a complete closer, okay, the reason why I laid this out in 4 months, because that's the amount of time I took to go from $2 to figuring out, okay, I cannot keep going around in this loop. I gotta do something different. And of course today you see a lot of people trying to, low-key take this stuff and, but okay, that's okay. Okay, we focus on what we do. Okay, we focus on what we do. And I focused on building each pillars. Of course, at the time, I didn't know I was doing strategic branding. Right? Of course, at the time, I didn't know I'm doing six-figure discipline. That's just a fancy name I give to the solution that I first created for myself and then my students. So if you really want to reverse engineer how I've built my career, okay, we can break it down into 4 months. Because when you are stuck in this loop, okay, month after month after month after month is passing. And if you are not moving up the learning curve, if your brand is not established, if your chat closing skills are not established, if you cannot close one live sales call, one complete sales call, if you cannot cross your first 3K, never mind the 10K, if you cannot cross the first 3K because you don't have your discipline, your schedule, your paradigm, and all these things in place, can I ask you, you meet these kind of teams, you buy everyone's stuff and you join everyone's team, and you don't have all these pillars in your mastery. When will it ever work? A lot of people want to ask me, how fast can I get results? If it's not about how hard you work, it's not about how fast you can make money. It's about, do you have these things? Can you get these things? Otherwise, we keep running to this brick wall, and then what? We always start as a seller, and then if we can't make it as a seller, we start as a VA, and then what? You get what I'm saying? So you have to build yourself up. You have to master these pillars internally. And I can tell you, once you complete these things, you will be, first of all, you will be way ahead of all the 1D, 2D closers, because the fact that you even take the time to, study this video and learn these things, you're already ahead of all those, lazy dabblers. Right? They overdose on caffeine, and they go on the Facebook groups and they post. 4 months later, they burn out, they quit. So in that same 4 months, you establish all these pillars. You're already way ahead of them. And dare I say, you're not just ahead of those closers. When you complete all these pillars, you'll be even ahead of a lot of business owners. Because when a lot of these business owners, they are very overwhelmed. They have to do content creation, they have to do coaching, they have to do sales, they have to do marketing. So when they get to the high ticket sales part, they are very, very burnt out themselves. So the fact that you can secure all this and become a specialist and a complete closer, okay, they all need you. You know what I'm saying? They need someone like you because they are overwhelmed. I run a business, I know. I train hundreds of closers over all these years, I know. A good, solid closer that is disciplined, that has no drama, that is energetically healthy, that's emotionally mature, that you don't need to babysit them, they go study, they do the work, is very rare. So as long as you can complete all these things, you will be way ahead of a lot of people. And you look at our future, the future of our technology, the future of our internet, okay, and you ask yourself, are these skills going to become more relevant or less relevant? Because chances are you're probably going to start your own thing in the near future, and you will need all these skills as well. You know what I'm saying? So I hope it is clear by now that a complete closer is not just someone that takes calls, right? Outside of the call, you need to know how to nurture and educate the prospect through every step of their buyer's journey. Okay, so I hope this video, this training gives you a clear overview and a very realistic view, a very realistic understanding, a very realistic expectation of, I'm going into remote sales and I'm not going to fall into those traps, okay, that Sean has already outlined. Because if you watch this and you still fall into those traps, then okay, why? Okay, so now that you can see the pitfalls in advance, it's really up to you, okay, to prepare yourself. Okay, victory and success comes to those who prepare themselves. And then when the opportunity comes, you have all this training, you have all these skills, you step forward and you seize them. You see a good opportunity, you apply. You see a good team, you join. Okay, you see a good chance to learn, you take it. Okay, this is the kind of mentality you need to not just succeed, but it's not enough just to say, oh, I want to come in and make money. You want to actually be what? Be fulfilled, okay? Be satisfied, be gratified by your remote sales career. Otherwise, how you're going to do it for a long time? and enjoy success. Okay, longevity is very important, and you want longevity, you really need to derive that sense of enjoyment and that pride in what you do as a complete closer. Okay, so if this video helped, okay, leave a comment below. Okay, subscribe to my channel. Okay, drop a like. Okay, and check out all the other resources in the description. Okay, go explore, and anytime you have a question, okay, reach out on social media, say hi, I've seen your video, here are my thoughts, here are my takeaways, here are my questions, here are my next steps. Okay, and let's get to work. Until next time, it's Sena, and I will see you very soon.